We'll call Daniel Larson, 23M3592.
Got it.
Allie Brady on behalf of the people.
Your Honor, Garen Gervey from the Public Defender's Office, appearing in person on behalf of Mr. Larson. He appears remotely from the jail.
All right. Good morning. Can you hear us, Mr. Larson?
Yes, I can.
All right. Thank you. I'm just going to mute you for background noise, but I'll unmute if you'd like to address the court. This comes on today on appearance and arrest warrant for a probation violation complaint that was filed on February 6th. The court issued a warrant and set bond at 1,000 cash or surety at the condition Mr. Larson report to probation within 48 hours of release or next business day after release from custody and comply with probation. Mr. Gervey, did you advise him on that complaint and the rights that he has with respect to the probation violation?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Larson's been advised of his rights as well as the potential penalties if the court were to find he violated probation. At this point, he, being advised, would waive his right to a hearing and admit to the following allegations: that he did not complete the mental health eval with PFA as ordered, that he missed a probation appointment on January 9th of 2024, and that he failed to report his police contact from December 31st with Golden Police Department. Then we'd ask to go forward to resentencing, where I don't believe there's an objection to a revoke and reinstate concurrent to Boulder.
And I haven't re-reviewed the complaint. Is he admitting to all the technical violations or those specific ones that you mentioned?
The three that were mentioned.
Okay. So I want to make sure I have this correct, that he is admitting he didn't complete the mental health evaluation that was ordered. He missed a probation appointment on January 9th and he failed to report police contacts.
One police contact.
One police contact. Okay. Is that your understanding, Mr. Larson, of what you'll be admitting today?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you feel like you're making this admission voluntarily of your own free will?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you thinking clearly?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that you give up your right to have a hearing on whether you violated probation by admitting?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And you understand that there's no objection to revoke and reinstate probation with the same terms and conditions? That's a recommendation that comes from the prosecutor. The maximum penalty for this charge, is this a pre-March 1st? I need to make sure that you understand what no, it's post-March 1st. So maximum penalty for the charge is 120 days in jail. Is that what you advised him of?
Your Honor, I actually said 180, so this is even better.
Okay, 120 days in jail. Should I not agree with the prosecutor and I don't reinstate your probation and I could revoke your probation as unsuccessful and terminate it with jail, that's the maximum jail sentence. I don't know what I'm going to do yet until I hear from all the parties, but do you understand that that's the maximum penalty that could be imposed? Should I not go along with the recommendation to revoke and reinstate?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you have any questions? Did you have enough time to speak with your lawyer, Mr. Gerby, about this?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you satisfied with his advice and representation so far?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions for your lawyer or for myself before I ask you whether you admit or deny the specific allegations that you're willing to admit to?
I don't have a question, but I do have information from the Boulder probation. They are helping with housing services and getting my mental health evaluation set up. Pretty
Okay,
much the same thing that
Great to hear. I'm going to
Jefferson
hear all
was
of that
doing.
after I take your admission. And I'm happy to hear from you on that if Mr. Gerby doesn't cover that for you. Okay. So I don't mean to be rude and interrupt you, but I just want to make sure that you understand you will have an opportunity to speak if you'd like. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you whether you admit or deny that you failed to complete the mental health evaluation that was ordered as a condition of probation, whether you admit that you missed your probation appointment on January 9th, and whether you admit that you failed to report the one police contact with Golden Police Department. Do you admit or deny those things, Mr. Larson?
I admit.
I'll accept your admission. I'll find it's a knowing and voluntary admission, that you understand your right to have a hearing and that you're voluntarily waiving your right to have a hearing, that you've done so with the effective assistance of counsel. For the people regarding sentencing, I'll hear from the people first, then from Mr. Gervy on your behalf, and finally from you if you'd like.
Your Honor, I think both the defendant and the community would benefit from the defendant obtaining mental health treatment and certainly obtaining stable housing. It sounds like Boulder is working on that with the defendant through their probation department. I don't usually see much utility in two separate counties supervising the defendant, but frankly, I don't know which one is more accessible to the defendant. I know it was his request to revoke and reinstate here rather than just closing with a jail sentence. So that's my request at this point.
That's what I'm inclined to do. Especially in a case where the mental health evaluation was never done. Mr. Gervy, what would Mr. Larson like the court to know?
That he is very hopeful that he's going to be able to take advantage of the resources Boulder is now presenting to him. It does sound like housing instability has been really the crux of his issues and his involvement in the legal system. And I think the court knows very well that it's very difficult to get engaged with mental health resources, and it's even more difficult when you don't have a stable address where you can communicate with your mental health providers, where you can get medications and things like that. And so we believe that there's going to be kind of dual linchpins to Mr. Larson's success in the community. Those are going to be housing and mental health treatment and services, and that's what Boulder is getting lined up for him. He is very hopeful. He's still a very young person, and he has a lot of future ahead of him. And I think these cases are a really good opportunity now with some of the resources presented to him to get him on a different track where he eventually gets out of the criminal legal system permanently.
Do you know if Mr. Larson is asking that probation be transferred to Boulder for courtesy supervision?
I think
We
that
can authorize it and then he can speak to Jeffco probation about it.
I think that would make sense given that they have looked into those resources. And I think that if he were to have it supervised here in the first JD, they would probably cease doing that. And so we would ask the court to do that, not impose any additional punitive sanction. He's been in custody 3 days since being
I'm sorry?
arrested. He's been in custody 3 days since being arrested.
Okay. All right, Mr. Larson, is there anything you'd like to say in addition to what Mr. Gervy has told me? I will let you know that I'm inclined to go along with the agreement to revoke and reinstate your probation with the same terms and conditions. I'm also willing to authorize transfer of probation to Boulder. However, you need to arrange that through Jeffco probation. So I'll order that you report to Jeffco probation. Today, if you get out in time before 5 o'clock, come to the courthouse, go to probation on the second floor and check in with them. I'm going to authorize that probation be transferred to Boulder, but it's your responsibility to make sure that Jeffco arranges that on your behalf. Is there anything in addition that you would like to know or say, sir?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Please take advantage of those resources. I will revoke and reinstate your probation with the same terms and conditions. I'll authorize transfer of probation to Boulder to be arranged through Jeffco probation. I'll order that you report to probation no later than by tomorrow, Friday, March 22nd. But ideally today, you'll check in with them, talk to them about your desire to transfer probation to Boulder and follow their directions, okay? Mainly stay in touch with them. Do you have any
Okay.
questions, sir?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good luck, Mr. Larson.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.